What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So are you tired of working for somebody else just to see them flourish and make boatloads of money while you wish and hoped and prayed you could be exactly where they are? Well, you are probably not there yet because you're making multiple mistakes with your money and you're not living like the 1%. You're not living like the people that you look up to, the people that you wish you just had that life. So in today's video, I want to address those issues and show you the mistakes you're making with your money and how you can also live like the 1%. Now, you want to know the secret to make a lot of money very quickly? Well, it's to buy a lotto ticket, to buy a scratch ticket, Mega Millions, Powerball. That's how you make a lot of money. That's the secret. Honestly, that's horrible advice. Do not listen to that. Yes, I did buy a scratch ticket and I actually made $6. It's a $1 ticket. I made $6, if you can see that. But again, that's just a horrible waste of money. So we'll just get rid of that. But here's what you need to understand. If you want to make money, you have to live like the 1%. And the 1% do something completely different that the majority of people do not do. And this is what they do. The majority of people look at their income as a way to buy more stuff, more things that they do not necessarily need. However, the 1%, they look at their income as a way to increase their income. So here's what you need to do. First, I want to show you what the majority of people do with their income. It's actually pretty simple, but the problem is this simple thing that they do is actually hurting them financially. So here's what the majority of people do. Let me just draw a little chart for you, okay? So the first thing they do is they get a paycheck, right? So you get a paycheck. Well, then you take your paycheck, and when I say you, I'm not necessarily saying that you are the one that's causing yourself to be poor, but this is what's happening. You get a paycheck, then you take your paycheck and you spend it on just random things, okay? You spend it. Sorry, my writing's a little poor, a little bad, but I usually do stuff on the computer, not actually in writing. So the next thing people do after they spend money on a car payment, on debts, on their rent and things like that, the next thing they do all the way down here is they save money. They save. Now here's the issue with this. You take your paycheck, let's say you make, let's say $1,000 a week, right? Let's put $1,000 right here. Okay, $1,000. You make $1,000. Great. Well, then you add up all your expenses and you are actually paying, let's say, $850. Okay, that's per week. That pays for your car payment, credit cards, groceries, gas, things like that. Well, at the very end of that, you just saved $150, right? You're probably thinking, yes, that's awesome. I'm going to save $600 every single month by doing this exact same thing. That's great. And that is what the majority of people do. But let's get into what the minority of people do, the 1%, because this is where things are actually different. This is where things will actually help you grow your income and actually become the 1%. So here's what I recommend you do. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently because it is a little bit different. So here's what we got. We got income, okay? I'm not going to say paycheck because a lot of people do not receive a paycheck. They receive income from different sources. This could be investments, businesses. This could even be their wages from wherever they work. Here's the difference. Okay, we have things like savings. Actually, we're going to do, we'll just do savings. We'll do savings first, and then we have investments, and then we have their expenditures, what they spend. So here's what we do. With the 1%, what they are doing, something like this. They don't go from paycheck to expenditures. They go from income. The first thing they do is they put their money into savings. Usually they're going to save like 50%. Okay, 50% of their money is going to go into savings. And I say this because you want to have the majority of your money in savings and investments. And these two right here, okay? These two things right here. That's where you want the majority of your money. So let's say you put 50% here, do 30% here, and then you do 20% in your expenditures. What's going to happen very quickly with this is if you have that same $1,000, okay, that means you're going to save $500 every single week. You're going to invest $300 every single week, and you're only going to spend $200 every single week. Remember, these right here are percentages, okay? And you can flip these around any way that you want to. What I suggest, okay, if you want to live like the 1%, this is what you need to do. The majority of your money, at least 80%, needs to go to savings and investments. The rest can go to your expenditures. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask, well, I can't make $1,000 and save 500 of it, invest another 300 and live off of 200. And I get that. This right here is what you should look for in the future. But to start, okay, maybe this isn't where you want to start. Where you want to start is, again, you want to do savings, investments, and expenditures in your spending, right? So here's what I'd suggest to start. Let's say you still make that same $1,000, or whether that's in a month, 2 weeks, or 1 week, doesn't matter. What I would suggest is you do this. Take your expenses, and instead of spending all 100% of your income, try to do your expenses at 50%, okay? Your expenses at 50%. Then save over here, save 30% and invest 20%. If you can do this and you can spend 50%, save 30, and then invest 20, eventually it's going to go down to 40, okay? And then you could go into the 40 and stick with the 20, okay? And then eventually you're going to get down to 30. Let's say you get up to 50, right? And you stick with the 20. And then eventually you'll get down to the 20, stick at 50, and also go to 30. This is what we started with. This bottom line right here. This is what we started with. So eventually, if you can work your way towards that goal, you will become the 1%. You might not be able to make billions and billions of dollars like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, but you can get there. You can start slowly and eventually work your way up to making more money, saving more money, and investing the bulk of your income. So now that we understand that portion of it, let's address the mistakes you're making with your money. The first mistake that so many people make is they do not track their expenses or their income. Some people say, oh, I don't know how much I make. Some people say, well, I don't know exactly how much I spend. And that's a big issue. The reason I say that's a big issue is because if you do not know how much you spend, you do not know how much you make, how much are you going to be able to save at the end of the month? Will you be upside down? That's a big issue. So here's what I recommend you do. Let's say you make $500, right? Very simple. 500 bucks. That's what you make. Let's say you spend, and let's say that's weekly. Actually, let's just say that's weekly. Make $500 weekly. Let's say in gas you spend, let's say $30. Say in food, let's say you spend $100. Okay, let's say insurance. Okay, you spend, let's say 40 bucks, right? So that right there comes out to $170. Let's say that's all you spend that week. Well, that means you have $330 left over at the end of the week. That would be good. You could be budgeting like that and you'd still know, all right, I'll be good. I'll be in the green at the end of this week and potentially at the end of this month. But the problem is so many people go into pretty much their job and like, all right, I'm gonna make $12 an hour and hopefully I'll be able to pay my rent at the end of the month. And like, well, I hope so. I don't know for sure, but we'll see when we get there. But if you budgeted, you know how much you make, you know how many hours you need to work, and you know how much your rent is, you should be able to figure out and determine before the month ever starts, do I have enough to pay my rent? And this is one of the reasons why so many people are in a financial issue, is because they just do not budget. They do not put aside some money for future expenses. They don't put aside money for your rent payments at the end of the month or at the beginning of the next month. They don't put aside money for a car payment. They just spend, 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 and then they hope and pray at the end of the month, hopefully I have something left. Don't do that. Just budget and you will be part of the 1%. Here's another thing that a lot of people do not do. They do not put their money to work for them. Like I said, you can go invest and put money in and gamble your money away by spending that money on a scratch ticket, on a lotto ticket, a Mega Millions, right? Powerball, whatever. You can do that and you can hope and pray that you win, But the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to invest it into something you know is going to actually give you more money back. There's actually two things that I like to do. The first thing that I like to do, that I've been doing for years, is I go and buy stuff to sell with the purpose and the goal of making more money. For example, I am a reseller. I buy stuff from thrift stores, I go and list it on eBay, and I hope to sell it for more money than I paid for it. For example, this item right here, this Discovery Construction Fort 72-piece build and play set, this was, it says $6, $6.99 up here. I don't know if you can really see it, but this item right here was 50% off. So I actually paid $3.49 for this, but I should be able to at least get about 20 bucks for this. And so again, that's just something I bought from a local thrift store, from a Goodwill, and I'm gonna sell it to make some money. I paid $3, I sell it for a potential $20 profit. Again, I'll get about $24 back out of it, and I'll take that $24 and I'll reinvest it into something else. Or I'll take that $24, I'll take my money back out, and then now I know I have $20 I can go and spend on like a meal, some dinner, you know, with my kids or my wife, or go have some activity, right? And that's money that I was not expecting. So I can use the money I'm making to go and put it into another business like reselling on eBay, and I can make some more money, which means I will have more things. I can have a better life because now I can go and do more stuff. I can buy more things, and I'm not necessarily using the money I earned from, let's say, my job or my other investments. And if you don't know anything about reselling, what to go and buy, to go and resell, potentially make more money, I'll put a link down to one of my courses. It's called Thrift Store Profits. I'll also put a link down in there with a 15% off discount code so that you don't have to pay full price. So go and check that out if you want to. And the next thing that I really like to do is I personally love investing in the stock market. I've been doing this ever since I was 18 years old. So I've been doing this for almost 15 years. Yes, I am almost 33. But what I love about the stock market is you can buy stuff with very little money, very little upfront investment. Like, you know, some stocks are just a few dollars. You know, something like GE, General Electric, it's like a $10, $11 stock, which it's a very good company, and it could potentially go up to, let's say, $13, $14, maybe $15, and you make $4 to $5 on every single share that you have. That's what I love. Now, here's what I suggest to you. You may not be invested in the stock market, and that's completely fine, but go and sign up. Here's a cool thing. Webull, the company Webull, has a great promotion that if you go and sign up for Webull using the link down in the description box below, they will give you 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850. All you gotta do is just go and deposit $100. As soon as you do that, you deposit your $100, they will give you your 2 free stocks. Again, and after 30 days of those stocks being in your account, the cool thing is you can go and sell those. You can take that money and you can cash out your 2 free stocks plus your $100 initial investment, and you can just close your account. And the great part about this is that it doesn't really cost you anything. Yes, you put in $100, you wait a month, and then you take everything right back out. It's pretty cool. But I suggest you go buy some stocks, trade them, and potentially make a little bit more. And the last mistake that people make with money is actually something that I personally love to do, and I've been teaching my children this exact same thing, but they do not tie their expenses to their actual income. Now here, and to the time. Here's what I mean by this. So one of my kids, he's 11, or actually he's 12 now. He went and he mowed a lawn, right? This was in the summertime. And I told him, you know, yes, you can go and do this. You can go mow the lawn. He gets paid like $20 every single time. He absolutely loves doing it. But then he wanted to go and buy a new phone. And I told him, all right, the phone's going to cost about $400. And I tried to explain this whole thing to him. But for simple math, let me give it to you very, very easily, very simply put. My son, like I said, you know, he went and he was doing this other job, but he was getting paid $12 an hour for that. So here's what happened. He wanted to go to Starbucks and buy a coffee. Not really a coffee, it was like a chai tea or something, I don't know. Anyway, he wanted to go buy it. It was going to cost $6. I said, okay, but if you want to go and buy it, it's going to be on you. It's going to be on you. You have to buy it. I'll take you. You have to buy it. And he was getting paid $12 an hour to do this one thing. So it was like, okay, it's gonna cost you about $6. So does this chai tea does it really equate to 30 minutes of work out there in the heat? Is that what you want to do? Is that where you want to spend your money? Because when you're drinking it, it's going to take you about 5 minutes to drink it. Just understand that 5 minutes of enjoyment that you had drinking that chai tea, that pretty much costs you 30 minutes out there in the hot sun. Is it worth it? So here's what the majority of people do is they don't look at the amount of time that it takes them to earn the amount of money. They just go and spend it. But if you're like the 1%, you don't have to look at the amount of time it took you to make that money, but look at the amount of time it takes to make that kind of money in the future. This is what's different. For some people, they don't look at their costs. They don't look at the amount of time it takes them to actually earn that money. What they look at is, oh, I can afford it. That's fine. I'll pay for that. For example, let's say you have a $500 car payment, an additional $200 for, let's say, gas and insurance every single month. That comes up to about $700. Well, if you take the exact same person that makes $12 an hour to pay off a $700 expense for that month, that's going to take them about 58 hours. 58 hours of making $12 an hour to pay off a $700 expense. Again, that doesn't account for, any maintenance on the car. That doesn't account for other things that you might want to do, for that car as well. Let's say new tires. Doesn't account for that. You go and get it washed. Let's say it goes from $700 in expenses to you can wash it twice a week. Let's say it costs you $7.50 every single time. That's an additional $15. That's going to add on an additional 1 hour. And that doesn't even include your income tax, which you take out of your $12 per hour. So right there, you're going to be working over 60 hours per month, about a week and a half full-time job just to pay off this car. That's where things really start to add up. So here's what you need to understand. The 1% are not focused on really saving money. The 1% are more focused on using their money to make them more money. And if you can do this, you can do this from a small amount, let's say $10, $15, maybe $100. Maybe you're going to take that $1,400 stimulus check that hopefully we will get very soon, and you're going to invest that into stocks and buying items that you can resell for more money. If you do this, you will be on the right path to being the next 1%. So here's what I recommend to you. The next time you receive any income, doesn't matter if it's $100, $1,000, or $1 million, I want you to do one thing. Stick to that 50, 30, 20 rule. If you can do that, I guarantee you, if you can do that for just 1 month, you're going to see how much better your life is. If you can do this for 2, maybe even 3 months, you're going to see how quickly your life is changing. You have more money in the bank. You feel more confident. You're not so worried and stressed out about, oh, am I going to get paid this week? Can I afford my car payment? Can I afford my apartment? If I can't, what do I do? Well, it's simple. You just go borrow from savings, and then you take the money that you get paid the next time and you put that money back into savings, right? It's very simple. But trust me, one thing that you're going to find out by using the 50, 30, 20 rule is actually that it's very easy to do. The hard part is to make it a consistent move, to make it where you do this thing every single time. Yes, you may have thousands and thousands of dollars in savings, but is that enough? Some people say you need anywhere from 3 to 6 months of expenses just as an emergency fund. I personally believe anywhere from 6 months to a year, especially in times like this, that would be the best move for most people. But again, it's up to you. What I suggest is you just start making some small moves, some really minuscule changes to your life and your finances, and overall, after 6 months, maybe a year of doing these small changes, you're going to see some immense growth. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I gave you some insights and some tips on what you can do to actually perfect your finances and get rid of these little mistakes that most people usually make. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Like always, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe. If you want to stay updated, you want to get some more tips, more advice, and more tricks on how you can make a little bit more money, save a little bit more, and live the best life possible. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.